So how did you guys meet? I mean, how many times did this guy deny you at the door at Underground before you became
Not
friends?
once.
See, that's well, I will say Gino was on that like select list. As you said, I was the guy that said no to you at the door of Underground. And Morgan.
Only 55 times.
Shout out Morgan McNeil at Tao. He's the one that, to me, that introduced us. You know, he was like at the door. He's like, "Hey, you got to take care of this guy all the time." I mean, Gino was one of the first guys I ever saw in like a slim fit suit. You know what I mean?
Don't
like,
let the Chef Whites fool you, man.
Yeah,
I got a deck of suits.
Deck of suits, and he was doing it in a time where everybody was still a little baggy. You know, everybody was still still a little baggy. You know, the Steve Harvey suits were still out there a little bit.
Steve Harvey suits.
And all right. Battle raps cause I've shaken grown men to the point that they can't even face their own friends. That's why they rhyme about jewels, not life, cause the ice on which they skating is so thin.
All right. You boys ready?
Ready, babe.
We're here. It's
Always
now.
ready.
Let's go. Welcome back to the Party with Strategy podcast. Big pod today.
Big pod.
Real big pod.
The Podfather.
I'm
Pod
super
father.
excited.
I
I'm
like that.
super excited. We got two very prominent men in the city of Chicago.
Thanks, sir.
Strong figures. Nice guys. Great guys. Been in the scene for a minute. I'm excited to talk to you.
Getting old.
Gino Bartucci, Martin Parsley, a.k.a. Gino and Marty's in the building.
Yes, sir.
How you guys feeling?
Feeling good.
Feeling good. I think this is the first time you got Gino and Marty in a room for an interview like this.
This is
right?
the first. I mean, other than being on.
We did that breakfast show, that Fox 32.
We did Fox
breakfast
32
show?
together, but usually it's.
Yeah, but that was like a quick
I need
fluff
my
piece.
my
This is real. That was a fluff piece.
I need my Sean Mack world premiere button.
Yeah. World premiere. You know. But yeah, I think this is our first time sitting down on a pod.
Love it.
Hell yeah. I'm pumped. So you guys are running I mean, I'll say it, it's the hottest restaurant in Chicago, I think, right? I mean, nobody's doing Lala, Sweetie, NLE Choppa. Pretty much any celebrity that comes to this city is at your guys' establishment.
In 1 week.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a
literally,
barn burner.
that was in like 3 days.
Within like 3 days,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, for us, I mean, it just happens, man. It's like every single day. We don't really think about it as like being hot. We're just doing it, and
Every day is like a new day. Like we have to strive for something. We have to grind for something. And luckily, there's enough people involved to where, everyone always has someone coming in at one point, and now it's snowballed into something bigger. But for us, it's like surviving every day. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Tomorrow starts a new day. It's like, how do you recreate something better than yesterday? How do you recreate more sales? And luckily, people like that keep coming in constantly and helping us out. So
So you guys didn't even set out as like the business plan for that to be like that. Like we're gonna try and get all the hottest people in here. Like that's gonna be our thing. It just kind of happened that way.
Yeah, I mean, how can you put that in a business plan?
Yeah.
And like
Looking at from the outside in, that's just kind of how I felt. I'm like, damn, these guys are smart. Like they made this happen.
I would love to claim that, but when Gino and I first, and the team, when we first came up with this idea coming out of COVID, it was really, we just wanted to open a restaurant that had returning guests and regulars. We pinpointed West Loop as like the target spot for us to be at. Then the opportunity to be next to Nobu came. But like, I don't think there was ever one time where we were like, we're going to get all these celebrities in.
When we were about to open, we had a big, beautiful barricade that we built out front with this like huge mural. So, we kind of wanted to make a big splash. We probably weren't ready to open.
No.
I mean, in fact, I say probably.
We were not.
We're definitely not ready to open.
It was
when
like
we
the
did.
bear?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So many similarities. I don't know where to begin. But we were like a couple weeks away from Lollapalooza. And we're like, we know a lot of people that are in town. We could fill this place. We have a lot of friends that are friends with celebrities. There's some musicians that we know personally. We're like, it would be a shame to let this opportunity to come and go without taking advantage of it. So we literally opened our first weekend,
Lala weekend.
Lala weekend with the barricade out front. Like,
Yeah.
and it was, and it
Like
turned
when you say
into this.
barricade, construction barricade.
Yeah, plywood out front, and like people
scaffolding and all
are
that.
walking up to like, where the fuck are we going? What kind of restaurant is this? And then they would walk into, it would be a surprise and delight for the people, and it ended up being super cool.
Yeah.
Because that was like a really New York kind of warehousey way to open up a really cool venue, and the first couple days and weeks experience was people coming in, celebrities coming in, and it kind of just.
just
By the time
snowballed
we opened
to the public, which
to the
was Labor
public
Day.
grand opening, we were already like, you couldn't get a reservation for a couple months in advance.
Yeah.
Celebrities were there was already 10, 15, 20 celebrities that have eaten in that venue by the time we did our grand opening.
Yeah. I mean, we maybe I'm giving too much up here, but I call it in talent booking routing artists.
Give
right?
us the
So,
sauce, bro.
essentially, like routing an artist means like they're already in the market, right? And you're routing them directly from wherever they're going. So essentially, you're maybe paying for maybe their black car. You're paying for their dinner, but they're already booked by some other group. Maybe they're at Lala, which was a great example. We knew a ton of people on the bill that year, and we both were like, David, myself, Tyler, Gino, we were like, man, we could just put out some text message feelers like, hey, you guys want to come to dinner? And the next thing you know, like we got a bunch of yeses and it was full, and they just kept going. And that's something that we really try to take advantage of in the summer. Is just routing artists. And I mean routing, like even if they're in Milwaukee, like we'll look at like what's going on in Detroit, like what's going on in Indianapolis. Like if they're around, we're texting agent, manager, like, hey, we got pasta.
Yeah, I mean, we could give you the recipe, but the sauce won't taste the same.
The sauce
baby.
won't
Oh,
taste
let's
the
go,
same.
champ. Let's go. I know. I feel like the same way I had a DJ homie in town this weekend. He's like, bro, I got to get to the Jordan statue and take a picture in front of it. I feel like, these people, these celebrities and things are like, I got to get to Gino and Marty's and get a picture, the fucking.
And it's crazy that people
That's
prompt
so
a
true.
picture, and you'll see people that like, I'm like, hey, pleasure to meet you. Like, really appreciate you coming in, and they're already doing
They're
one
already
of these in the
doing it.
picture.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's actually, that's
It's
a cool,
really,
that's
especially
a cool
for me when
experience.
you're
It's
not
surreal.
there, and I'm taking a pic with somebody and then they whip it out and I'm like, well, I guess I got to do it too, guess I'm a paisan.
Yeah, you're halfway there, man.
I'm halfway there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're people too, and they're all often, celeb we had in last week, we were having dinner. She was saying like, I'm shooting in Chicago like all the time. And when I'm here, I'm in and out. And I think that goes to what we set out to do originally, which was build long-lasting relationships with anybody that comes in.
Yeah.
I think if you are a celeb and you don't have anyone in Chicago to connect with, that's what we strive to be for anyone that comes in from out of town.
Well, you want it
It's
to
like,
be easy, a stress-free environment. You don't want to be blown up and be talking to a bunch of people and having to, have paparazzi or people with their cell phone out. Like, you want to feel like you could just enjoy your experience and be a human for a second and, have some time to yourself to enjoy your time with your friends. And we do that for people. It feels like home.
right, like anyone though.
Yeah,
Like to me,
sure.
that's a guarantee that we're gonna give any guest, whether they're low profile business executive or just two people on a date. If you want to come have a very intimate, private experience, we strive to do that, and I think that shows in where we've come today.
Yeah, in the kitchen, I'll yell out a ticket, table 23 VIP, and the kitchen replies, everyone's a VIP chef. And I say,
Everyone's a
let's go.
VIP. Yeah.
That was a test and they passed, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice. So how did you guys meet? I mean, how many times did this guy deny you at the door at Underground before you became
Not
friends?
once.
See, that's well, I will say, Gino was on that like select list. I mean, he back in the day, man. I looked up to Gino, in terms of how he dressed.
Appreciate it.
A lot of the things that I do in terms of like my tailored outfits. I mean, Gino was one of the first guys I ever saw in like a slim fit suit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
don't
Like,
let the Chef Whites fool you, man.
Yeah,
I got a deck of suits.
deck of suits, and he was doing it in a time where everybody was still a little baggy. Everybody was still
Okay.
still a little baggy. The Steve Harvey suits were still out there a little bit.
Steve Harvey suits. I love that.
And Gino was coming in, and I mean, truthfully, he was running the Dana Hotel and Vertigo Sky Lounge. As you said, I was the guy that said no to you at the door of Underground. And Morgan,
Only 55 times.
shout out Morgan McMeal at Tao. Mentor of mine, taught me how to be a nice guy. He's the one that, to me, that introduced us. You know, he was like at the door. He's like, "Hey, you got to take care of this guy all the time. If I'm not up here, you got to take care of him." And
well, you know, and then they would have a lot of guests, talent that we would put up in the hotel. In the nightlife venue, as I was running the hotel, the nightlife venue would close early, and I would send a lot of those great tables and clients over to Martin and Underground. So it was really just a nice synergy.
Yeah,
Okay.
Billy Fogel was your roommate at the time, and Fogel was
It was
AGM, and then the GM.
Sure.
So yeah, mutual friends and just some mutual respect, and it just lasted over a decade. And then coming out of COVID, I think everyone in the industry, including, you know, probably yourself, we were just trying to pick up the pieces of the last 2 years that we lost. And I ran into you at a Soho pool party.
Yeah, I remember that.
We were
I didn't
like,
want to go.
Yeah, neither did I, but you were there, and we're like vibing it, catching
Like
up.
dragged me there. I'm like sitting in the corner, surly, like whatever, give me a burger.
Yep. And we were just hanging out, and we were like, "Yo, what if we teamed up?"
Well,
And
it was
then
one of those things like, you know, he's a Chicago kid. I'm a Chicago kid.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunities around. There's a lot of restaurant groups around. There's a lot of opportunities for private funding. But very few people are born and raised real Chicago.
Yeah.
And our product that we wanted to come out with was going to be a real Chicago product.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. That's how the vibe is. You know, our nod to, you know, old school Chicago Italian restaurants on the first floor. And even when you go up to the party upstairs, it feels like everyone knows each other. It's a little bit of a house party. You know, you might have a celebrity next to you. You might have Chance the Rapper jump in on a surprise DJ set that nobody knows about, wasn't pre-planned, but that's a real Chicago vibe, and it takes two real Chicagoans to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a part of our mission statement, right?
Yeah.
Is being a Chicago Italian place, right? And to us, what did Chicago Italian mean? Like, you just came out with the chicken Vesuvio, and I'm finding out from you that it's a Chicago Italian dish.
Only Chicago Italian.
Only
yeah.
Chicago.
Oh,
Italian
is it?
dish.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun
Okay.
fact.
Fun fact, but that's us, right?
Yeah.
It was like, how do we strive to be a place that puts the city on? I think one thing I always say that really frustrates me being a city kid is that, like, we're always second stepchild to LA or the second ugly stepchild to New York. And it's like, I go to those places, man, and I don't have nearly as much fun as I do at home, you know? And don't get me wrong, I love New York, right? It's one of my favorite cities next to where I'm from. And I think that people, especially here, we get a bad rap as a city. You know, obviously Chicago violence and yada yada, but I mean, come on, Strategy, you've been in the city a long time, right? This place is just as fun and can be just as fun on any given night of the week as any of these other places. And we wanted to showcase that through food, through nightlife, and just a great experience.
Yeah, make it real, make it genuine.
Yeah.
You know, cut some of the smoke and mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, L.A., New York, Miami. Yeah, all those spots are super fun, but you know they're spending millions of dollars in production. They have these sprawling venues. You know, and in Chicago, like people don't mess around. People respect a good product, and it's a hard-nosed city, and you got to be real with it. You know.
Yeah, we were talking before you got here about how in entertainment, LA, New York, those are A markets, right? In terms of like how other people perceive your city. You know, obviously we know Chicago's the best city in the world, hands down.
Hands down.
But there's no paparazzi here. You don't get as much respect if you go and DJ in LA. It's like, oh shit, he's DJing in LA. If you DJ in Chicago, it's like, cool, he's DJing in Chicago, whatever. But in terms of food, to run a successful restaurant in Chicago, this is hands down the best fucking food city. And I think anyone who's been here knows that.
Yeah.
It's a different thing.
It's a different thing. It's highly competitive. You know, we have a lot of great minds in the food and beverage industry.
I was telling Strategy earlier, you know, within a half mile from our restaurant is the highest concentration of James Beard Award winners and Michelin Star Award winners in the world, you know, per capita, which is a crazy statement. And it just goes to show you the level of competition, and especially being two young, like Chicago kids on the block. You know, we're next door to, you know, names like Nobu and Rick Bayless and, you know, Boca Group. And, you know, like these are the titans of the industry. And we're trying to, you know, carve out a little corner.
Just want to see at the table,
Yeah,
baby.
just getting a seat at the table.
You know?
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think again, that was a goal, was to showcase the city as best as we could, and have people walk away from here, if they're not from here, and be like, man, Chicago is popping. Like, I didn't know that, you know. And And that if you know, this place is hands down one of the best places in the world to live, to eat, to have entertainment. It's just a grand old time.
Yeah, it is. So wait, I didn't know that you ran Vertigo in the Dana Hotel.
Yeah, I started as the manager of Vertigo, and then I became food and beverage director of the hotel. I was there for 8 years.
Youngest food and beverage director in the city, I might add.
Okay.
County.
So you grew up above Pasta Fresh, the first restaurant that your family opened, right? And you said you worked there from 2 years old.
Yeah, I mean, literally, we had a grocery store called Gino's Italian Imports, and that was my first home. Once my dad kind of progressed the businesses a little bit, and I got a little older, we moved to Park Ridge, and
And then so I just imagined you worked at the restaurants the whole time and then opened your own. But where was the switch? Like, I'm leaving, the family business and I'm going to do this.
Well, I mean, I grew up doing that, and it was really like, it was labor for me. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I hated it. I remember my dad teaching me how to cook when I'm 8 years old. And saying, hey, one day you grow up, you're gonna find a woman, and she might be a good woman, but she's not gonna know how to cook properly. And I was like, okay, like that. It's a little machismo of him. But sure enough, like, I am the one cooking now. And I'm coming full circle to a life journey. But, I spent my summers making mozzarella and stuffing sausage and slicing deli meat and helping old ladies to their car that would shop at the grocery store and, once I got my license, help with the pasta deliveries next door. And then it was important for me to go out and see what was in store for me as a person. So, 18 years old, I moved downtown, completely broke. Started just kind of promoting and figuring it out and hosting my own little events, and then got my first GM job in Gold Coast at 23, and then the rest is history. So about 10 years ago, once I kind of did my thing at the hotel and I was, achieved in my career, I wanted to go back to my roots. And I opened up Bartucci on my own dime, no real investors or anything, figured it out with 6 tables that I could barely fill. And, when me and Martin met that day at Soho House, he was kind of like, Gino, I haven't seen you on the scene in like a year or two. Like, what's up? And I was like, come to Harlem and come see what I'm doing. And someone that saw me in suits, custom suits 6 days a week, now sees me washing dishes with a dirty apron in the kitchen, because it's something I believed in. And that kind of started a lot of our culture.
Yeah, for sure.
Marty's.
I mean, that night, it was like next day, coming out to Bartucci and seeing just the evolution of Gino was like, yo, we got to do this. Like, we could come together and do something great. I could learn a lot from him in terms of what really restaurant management is all about in the city, right? Grinding it out, providing a A1 experience for every single table. I think the one thing that translates through to our restaurant now that I saw that day at Bartucci's was Gino touches every single table with at least one dish. Like, if it's the pasta, if it's the bread, if it's the salad, he's going to find a way to get from the kitchen line where he's making food and go to the table. And I don't think people realize how much of like a grind that is as the chef.
It's fucking exhausting.
Because he's got timing going on in his head, right? Like, he's counting down. Like, I got pasta.
I have tickets on the line. There's shit in the oven. There's something in the fryer. Like, while I'm talking to someone, trying to care about what you're saying.
It's one of my favorite things to try to talk to him on the way back from the table, because he's like, yeah. And then he's just like rushing back into the kitchen to try to make sure he doesn't forget about like the 4 things he's got.
But that's part of what, we want as humans is to see and be seen. Yeah. And everyone wants a little attention. They want to be recognized. And that's really a secret of restaurants. Food and music and service and all that stuff are all little parts of the ingredients. And the final dish, though, the garnish when you finish plating your plate is how you feel at the end of it.
Yeah.
And that's part of the ultimate recipe we're trying to create at the restaurant.
Yeah, it's really about like stimulating all 5 senses in a person at any point, right? And I call it brand touch points, right? Yeah. Every single thing that they're experiencing, and whether it's at the table, at the host stand, when they receive their check. These are all moments where you're touching the customer's five senses. And if you are stimulating them in a positive way, then again, you're going to create a long-lasting relationship. You're probably going to create a regular out of it. It's very hard to hit all five for any person, but if it smells good in the restaurant, the music is at the right volume, and the playlist they love, the food tastes good, and it's plated well. I mean, man, those are things that create long-lasting memories for someone who might just be in your place for 2 hours.
Yeah, it's a memory business.
Yeah, it's a memory business.
That's what we're in.
Creating memories.
Yeah. Food and drink is just a profit vehicle to get there.
Yeah, the hospitality is crazy, and I sort of learned a little bit more about that from watching The Bear. I love food, but I'll be honest, my palate is that of like a 14-year-old. I grew up on like Pop-Tarts and Fruity Pebbles, so I taste fish and it doesn't even make sense to me. I never grew the right taste buds for it. So like fine dining, I don't know much about. But then I'm watching The Bear and you see like they got someone looking at people's social media who's coming in, and they're seeing information about them, and they're gathering information. They're listening to what's happening at the table, and they're bringing surprises and doing
absolutely
all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right up our alley. That's stuff that we do all the time. We pre-shift every day. We'll go through our entire reservation list. We'll talk about details, allergies, different celebrations people might be having. What was the last time they're in? What did they like? Small things that might, give them a memorable moment.
Yeah, I mean, these are things too that like I think most people try to invent the wheel on it. It can just be as simple like our birthday, just recognizing someone's birthday, recognizing that it's an anniversary. I call them annual holidays or annual celebrations. If it happens one time a year and they are in your place celebrating that, it is very special, right? It is actually super special, right? If they have one time a year to celebrate it, if it's an actual holiday and they're in your place doing it, guess what? Next time they're doing it is 364 days away, right? And that's something that like, if you don't take it seriously, if you don't have the host say happy birthday, if you're not saying happy birthday, if the server's not acknowledging it through the whole experience, if we're not bringing out little gelato with sparklers, those things, they may never come back. But at this point, going into our second year, it's crazy to see people having celebrated their birthdays twice with us. Yeah. People are getting married and taking their wedding photos at our place.
And really, it's a privilege that we could facilitate the milestones of people's lives. It's a really special thing that I don't take for granted. Mm-hmm. And it should be respected.
Yeah, I mean, the best hotels you go to, the Peninsula, the Langhams of the world, the bell captain will recognize you as your name when you get out of the car. It's usually something that blows people's minds, but really all he did was just check the tag on your luggage just to, right when he got it out. But the trunk.
Something simple as someone knowing your name, walking in and saying, "Hey, Martin, great to see you." Yep. Whether you're on your first date, whatever it is, makes you feel like just
makes you feel like you're at home.
It's the coolest person. Whoever you're with, you're spending more money, you're feeling better, you're in a better mood.
Yeah, chances are you're going to come back. You're going to stay there for longer than you expected. You might cancel your next plans because you're having too much fun at our place.
Sure.
But it's as simple as that, recognition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is huge. When someone says your name, just that.
Yeah. That alone.
Tiny. Nothing. Mm-hmm. Literally nothing. It's your name. People have been calling you that your entire life. Yeah. But when someone says it to you, you're just like, that's great. Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah.
Feels good.
I would say that's the most difficult thing for me is remembering people's names.
Same. I have a really hard time with that.
I have a really hard time with it. But, if it's a regular, I go out of my way to be like, all right, that's so-and-so. And then I try to teach that on down to the security, to everyone, like, hey, make sure so-and-so is taken care of. Make sure you shake his hand and say hi.
I have to make jokes about people inside my head, like, just so I remember their names. Like, and, not in a bad way, of course. So I'm like,
but no, it's important, man. It's how you stay competitive and how you stay in the game.
That's great. So you said you were at 18 working promo a little bit, going out partying. Were you working for one of the companies?
No, Debonair Entertainment, man. It was my own company. Debonair Entertainment tagline, always on the guest list.
Nice.
Yeah, we were ahead of the time, man. That was like when Facebook. I don't want to date myself now, but that's like we were the first people on Facebook. Like that when it was still just college kids that could be on Facebook.
Yeah, you had to get an invite.
We started that wave.
Student,
we started that wave. I was the only one of my friends that didn't go to college at that point. So I would go and party at everyone else's colleges, and then have these just mass waves of kids coming in for the holidays and Black Wednesday and New Year's. And I've been taking I have generations of people that have been getting drunk with me, I guess.
Yeah, it's. Without dating ourselves, but those are the techniques, right, that I think a lot of people use now, and you're probably one of the first guys out here doing it.
Yeah, we used to do Reserve nightclub, Wet nightclub, Stone Lotus when they just got their liquor, baby. When they just got their 4 a.m. though,
Stone Low.
Yeah, the Grotto on State Street over there, Gold Coast, Viagra Triangle. Like there was I mean,
that's where I got started before Underground. Was the Gold Coast, Le Passage, Privé after that. I was promoting with Carmen Rossi in Lincoln Park before he was an owner. And he was doing sense. Wingman.
You were a wingman, huh?
Yeah, wingman. I was a wingman.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was a wingman. Still am.
Still am. But those were the good. I mean, I hate to say that, but those were the good old days.
It's hard to not be that guy. I mean, I'm struggling with that right now currently. It's like, I lived my best life I've ever lived in the party scene in 2016, but I'm still obviously out here and part of it. And I catch myself thinking like, damn, like this is fun, but it's not,
right.
Whatever it was, Underground in 2016, Bottle Blind, whatever it was. And I think everybody has that. Yeah. And I think that's like what makes you the old man in the club. So I have to like stop myself from being that dude.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm very jaded when out and about. But to that point, I think one thing to say about where the city has gone in terms of the industry, back then there used to be a shared collective and a shared sense of like what we were going to do as an industry. Like every club, every restaurant, they didn't have the same vibe, but they were almost from like the same coaching tree. Right. And there was at the time maybe 4 or 5 leaders that taught like all of us. Right. Like, I could name a few. Right. You have Billy Deck, Arturo Gomez, who taught me. There's a Matt Deichel out there that's taught plenty of people. Right. Matt McCahill taught a lot taught you. Yeah. And these guys were the leaders. And then when people started to get their seat at the table, I think there was a lost sense of like what makes a place great, and now everyone's got their own objectives and their own intentions, and that's what you're seeing in the city now, right?
Yeah, and promoters have a bad connotation nowadays. It's not like it wasn't just like a password and I'm trying to give somebody to drink and like have the same people like cycle through each night of every place. Like we were actually making good money. We were creating real experiences. Yeah. We were really like going above and beyond and kind of pioneering what it is now. And like I said, now it's got a little more of a bad connotation.
Yeah.
But it was solid work back then.
Now promoters, it's a numbers game for them.
Yeah, like when you were promoting back in the day, it was just one spot, right? Or were you doing multiple?
I would have a couple residencies. Yeah, I would do a Friday night one place, Thursday night one place.
But on that night was just one spot, right? So
absolutely.
I think what really fuck the promoter game up is that whole thing of like I take my crowd every hour to a different spot, because I mean I see it from their point of view. Obviously they're making more money because they're getting paid from all the spots. Their clientele, the people they're bringing out, like it because they get to go hop around a little bit more. But in terms of the actual party itself, it kills it. It hurts it so much.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big part of what made Underground back in the day what it was. We didn't work with promoters. I mean, we had maybe 1 or 2 guys that we really worked with, but at the same time we worked on internally building our own parties, our own VIPs, and that really helped us because I think as an owner, like we don't use promoters at Gino and Marty's. and that really helps us because we don't worry about losing our party.
But taking that idea, we are our own
Right, we are
promoters.
promoters.
Our social media team is our promoter.
Yeah.
All of us as partners individually are promoters in our own sense and have our own followings and our own type of clientele and histories in the city in different ways. So it's really cool for it to come together, from a motley crew of hustlers to kind of end up being something really unique and very Chicago.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's what a lot of places are missing, are their own identity, their own brand, their own ability to get a crowd, and they sort of put that on the DJ or the promoter or whoever they're hiring or the artist that they're booking because they're trying to get a crowd in there. Like, back in the day, the clubs just had their following, and you'd go in there and rock the room.
Right.
They might not even promote you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny you bring that up. I was interacting with the DJ who wants to DJ at Gino and Marty's the other day, and he was like, "Bro, I'll bring like 100 people," and I was like, "I don't really care."
You're like, I don't even have room for that.
Actually, don't. Like,
I was like, "Will you bring a vibe? Like what type of music? Like where can I hear your stuff? Like, do you got any mixes out there? Like, send me some music, dog.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really care. You're bringing 100 people because I don't even know if I'm gonna let those 100 people in. It's like." But that's crazy that's what a DJ's first comment to me to get booked at our spot is.
Being the artist, not about your music.
Yeah, it's like, and I think, we work with a lot of DJs at Gino and Marty's that just, when we hear them, we're like, yo, we got to bring that guy back. Like, didn't have to go in the booth and give him any direction. Like, we were vibing, working there. I mean, Gino's big on music for himself, right? Like,
I love to dance.
It's it gets you through the shift,
for sure. I have to dance.
But it's just so crazy to me that's where the industry's gone, right? Is it's all about numbers and it's not about experience. It's not about like, what can we provide these people? And there's a few places that they still book the right DJs, and I go to those places because I know who's DJing. It's been my boy. You're one of them, right? Like if you're throwing a party, I'm gonna know like we're gonna get good vibes for the next like 2.5 hours.
I do see you often on Friday nights, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Yeah. But that's because I know who's DJing. Like it's crazy, like how Dante, our good buddy.
Dante.
I like him because he's a great DJ. Now he's one of my like really good friends, and we support each other as business owners from the same block. But I always tell people like, man, that boy right there, back in the day, throw a killer set.
Shout out Good Night John Boy, give him a follow.
Yeah, shout out.
The farm's opening.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's that was a time period where people were booking artists not around the crowd. Promoters were, sure, they were out there, but they were also more focused on even creating their own experiences for their guests, and they typically worked at one place in a night. And your promoter was like almost like a partner. He was almost like work there, but he didn't. Now it's very watered down, and people are busing kids in from the suburbs and selling all access passes and stuff like that. But hey, people got to make money, so here we are.
It's very refreshing to hear you say, like, a DJ came up and told you how many people he could bring, and you were like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't.
You don't need that. You got that. You already have 100%. That.
And there's plenty of other well-paid people that are responsible to do that.
Yeah.
That isn't an artist. Be an artist. Be creative. Flourish. Make a vibe that no one else can create. That's your job.
I love that.
Our job is the rest.
I love that. Nobody has ever had that thought process in this day and age.
Yeah.
Because it's become that. Anytime someone goes to get booked, I'd love to DJ here, whatever. How many people can you bring? How many people can you bring? Here's the guest list. Fill it up. Whatever it is, And it's really nice to hear you say that.
I don't even ask for a guest list from our DJs.
No, and
I'm just like, yo,
don't turn in a guest.
Yeah, in fact, like,
you don't want to deal with your guest list.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, because it's, again, going back to the business model, right? You want to stimulate the five senses. I want people to have a good time. I love when people tell us, man, I love the music at your place, whether it's at dinner or upstairs, like the whole experience. And people will ask us, what playlist is this in our dining room? And I'm like, it's a collective.
Constantly get compliments in the dining room.
Yeah, who made it?
I mean,
it's a collective.
We'll throw. I mean, David Nicholson.
Shout out to David.
He makes the bass, and then we're always adding songs.
Right.
And then, of course, like, you know, when I'm on my feet all day, especially, you know, 10 hours into a shift, you know, and I'm on the line, like standing there stagnant is the worst thing you can do, you know, and constantly like bending over and plating and everything. Like, I need to dance. I dance on the line.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I got to
Yeah.
move. Like, give me some good jams. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we're in it 12 hours
100%.
deep. Let's do it.
I will say, yeah, David is the base. He's the foundation of all of our music. He books our DJs. He books our talent.
Does a lot of the artist management.
Yeah, and then we all have access to the Spotify account, so we'll drop in a song or two here. I mean, but if we're doing a private event, like when we had Kendrick Lamar, David was DJing the whole night because he took it so seriously. Like, he's just on the iPad in the kitchen.
Yeah,
just,
yeah, you should.
And
for him.
I remember Kendrick was like, "Man, the music here's a vibe," and I was like, "Yo, David." Kendrick just said.
But also,
"This
you
is
know,
a
we
vibe."
had one or two of the Cavs and the Knicks players in last Saturday, a couple nights ago. You know, and they had the first floor private, and you know, we offered like, we'll get you, you know, we could have a DJ, whatever, and like it was the vibe because like I think Donovan Mitchell hooked up his cell phone to the Bluetooth,
Yeah.
and he just played shit off his phone, and it became like a house party, and they were vibing, and that's awesome. But like, what venue can you do that in Chicago, a professional venue, especially on Randolph Street, where like someone could just come in, play, like it's a house party, play your
Yeah.
phone, listen to your own jams, like let's
Like
have a
Cam
ball.
Newton saw that I had
Yeah.
the iPad, or David had the iPad. I forget which one of us, and he was like, "Yo, can I use that?" And
Yeah,
we're
all
like,
of a sudden, yeah,
"Sure."
Cam Newton's doing
And
the
he's just
cha-cha
walking
slide in
around
the dining
playing-
room at
playing-
1 a.m.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. But again, it's a part of the experience. I mean, music is such a big part of the experience that you need to cater to people. It's less about like, can this artist sell me tickets? It's more like, yo, can this artist play a room? You know, R.I.P. DJ Eddie Mills, but like Eddie, big bro of mine, man, like that's somebody that like he could play a room. He would go in no preset list. And next thing you know, everybody's dancing. He's like looking around the room to see if people are bobbing their
Yeah, so
heads.
it should be.
He's not just looking at the tables who are buying bottle service. He's thinking about the girls deep at the bar. And that's like a lost art to me. You know, I think that type of DJing is gone now. You know, everyone's doing preset lists. They're dropping their set lists into Ableton and adding effects, and they're just pressing play. And it's like, yo, like, can you play the room? Like, can you tell that your set is getting people to leave like right now?
Can
you
We'll
recover?
still come to your sets though.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, can you recover? Can you bridge out of this problem I have in my floor where no one's having a good time? And I think that's like, it's a lost art nowadays.
Yeah. And, you know, Eddie Mills's position that he played when he was here is unfilled at the moment as well. And that's a big problem.
Yeah.
He was like the grandfather to any DJ that came up in the city.
Yeah.
You know, like you got someone who's climbing the ranks, doing the spots, young kid. Somebody would introduce him to Eddie Mills and let him know what he's done, what he does, who he is. And there's automatic respect, and Eddie always gave advice.
Man.
Always gave everybody advice and wanted everybody to succeed if he liked you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we don't have that right now. We need that.
Do you remember
We need
the
that
old
back.
DJ summits he would host, where he'd get all the DJs together, and it was just like a DJ networking event. He would host those at Rocket back in the day,
yeah.
and yeah, I mean, it's a void that I think is missing now. You know, is that there was like a big bro in the industry, and he was a big bro to me at Underground. Taught me how to DJ during COVID, because he was like, if you at least know what's going on in the booth, you're going to provide your guests a better experience. And it wasn't to DJ to learn, like to DJ myself. It was like, yo, just learn what we're doing in here so you can set the levels on your own, you know? And now here I am running around Gino and Marty's, messing with lows, highs, and mids, trying to get you know?
Scrambling to set up DJ equipment.
Yeah. Like, it's crazy. Like, so I'll come in and the people unplugged all the DJ equipment, and I'm like, well, luckily I know how to do this. And
Or
it's
some
not.
celebrities, not to be named, drop their drinks all over our shit.
Who was it, bro? Who was it? Who was it?
Someone just
Bro,
did it.
he will kill me if I say his name.
I'm just poking fun.
Last time I was with him, I said it to him. He's like, bro, you got to stop spreading that rumor around.
There's a rumor right there.
I will say he's from here. That's
Okay.
as far as I'll go.
All right.
We love you though. We love you though.
We
baby.
love you.
I got a
Appreciate
couple ideas.
Spill some things on our shit anytime you want, my man.
you. Yeah, absolutely. It was worth it.
I thought the fader was a little sticky when I was in there.
Yeah, we had to get it fixed at at AV Max, and I know about AV Max because of Eddie Mills. It's actually crazy.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to DJ stores that I know about from my, my old big bro, and it's like, yeah, that's what the industry used to be. Is kind of what I'm saying. From it used to be a lot more of a camaraderie and people were getting together to share ideas, whether it was restaurants or nightclubs. Now it's everybody out for themselves, which is fine.
Yeah, the whole world is like that, right? And
Yeah.
it bleeds into every aspect.
Yeah.
Like it's bleeding into nightlife.
Mhm.
Everyone's fighting with each other. It's just been big division for the last couple of years, but it's got to come back at some point. And I
think
feel
so.
like we're slowly starting to see that shift. Feels like it, at least.
Yeah, I mean, in the West Loop, when it comes to safety and trying to make sure that the West Loop stays away from turning into what River North has become, or Gold Coast before that, there is a shared community amongst us operators. I think that's the one time where we all do get in these CAPS meetings and we sit down as a unit, and there'll be, RJ Melman Jr.'s there, Kevin
Yeah, they're
Maynard's
well
there.
attended. Proper items are discussed.
Yeah.
It's well organized.
Yeah.
We are all in contact with each other. There is neighborhood slacks between the restaurant owners
Yeah.
to talk about shady customers that might have come in, or maybe a smash and grab that happened, or someone stealing purses off tables. So
Yeah.
we try to bring back a little bit of that community.
Yeah, so I do think it is coming back.
Yeah.
I think that
That's great.
Yeah, at least we're talking, and at least we're in communication with each other in our neighborhood, at least.
Yeah.
That's great. So, where were you the GM of at 23?
I was the GM of Trader Vic's. Trader Vic's was like a 50-year-old establishment, started in the Palmer House, and then they moved into actually the old Grotto space, believe it or not.
Okay.
Right where the Connie's Pizza is, right next door to the Mortons, across the street from Gibson's, Viagra Triangle. So I'm 23 years old, holding a GM job with Gibson's and Tavern on Rush across the street. Trying to play with the big boys ever since.
Yeah,
That's sick.
So,
Did you go to Butch McGuire's a lot?
Yeah, I mean there was several times at Bush McGuire's. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Dublin's was a common go-to after work. But
yeah. In
I-
the good old days.
I started before I was like DJing in the actual city, making money and shit. I was working the door at Butch's, and then I was serving,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
I became a bartender. That was my spot.
yeah, it's
I didn't know you bartended.
Yeah.
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 Can you still slang a drink, or are you a little rusty?
Yeah, I mean, it's volume. It's easy.
Doesn't sound
Vodka
like it.
sodas.
It's
Whiskey
I
diet.
can do volume.
Vodka grip.
Dude, that's
I can
all it
mix
was.
vodka and sodas.
I'm no mixologist. I'm just a volume bartender, you know?
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. Me too. That's funny.
But yeah, those are Viagra Triangle used to be.
What's
The
your
spot.
favorite drink? What's your go-to?
Man, I mean, I try and keep it clean, just vodka soda. I actually didn't start drinking until I was 25. I'm
Really?
34 now. My whole time bartending, all that was before I ever had a drink in my life. So like, I don't know. If I'm drinking alcohol, I've never taken a sip of something and been like, "Oh, this is delicious." You know what I mean? It's just like it's good enough. I'll drink it until we're having a good time.
Smooth.
Yeah. So I don't have like a cocktail preference. So you just vodka soda, a little slice of pizza. I told you I got the
Little
palate of
slice
a
of
14-year-old.
little slice of pizza.
Talking about a drink, man. You should know how to throw pizza in there. No, I'm with you though. Add a little slice of pizza, fucking garnish.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I do think, right, alcohol for us in the industry just kind of serves a purpose.
Yeah.
It's don't want to go down to the addiction conversation, but it's a big problem for those of us that work. It's a problem. I'll admit it. It's a problem for myself, right? It's something that we as lifers, is what I call us, have to deal with. Because even if you say you haven't drank since 25, I mean, shit, here we are.
I mean, the
pushing
whole
34,
reason
35.
the whole reason I started was because I realized how much of a networking tool it is
Yeah.
in this industry.
Yeah.
I would be out and I'm trying to talk to people. Oh, architect would introduce me to someone. This is the GM of this spot. Oh, sick. I'm gonna go talk to him. What's up? I'm Zach. He's like, yeah, you want to take a shot? And I'd be
First
like,
thing you're gonna get is a comp shot. Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I don't drink. And then, he's not like, oh, you fucking loser. But it's kind of like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go drink and
Right.
like hang out over here. And I
Yeah.
was like, I see what's going on here.
Well, and you find yourselves, especially, like, I'm in the restaurant, 6 days a week sometimes, and it'll be a Tuesday night, and it's always someone's birthday. It's always someone's celebration. Maybe they just got a job or whatever, or maybe they like really enjoyed their experience and they want to buy a kitchen a shot, or, hey, chef, have a drink with us, or, hey, great to see you. Thank you for coming in, right? I'm going to get you a shot. I'm going to do a shot with you.
Yeah.
Then before you know it's a Tuesday night, I'm 6 shots deep. Like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
And then a
But you
nuanced
have
thing.
to have a real proper balance.
Yeah, a nuanced thing for us as operators is working with liquor companies.
Yeah.
Right? Our liquor brands and with us we're hand in hand. Like we're very close to Moet Hennessy. We're very close to a lot of the tequila brands that we work with, and like we're hosting tequila dinners that are 5-course, and they want us to taste it. They're bringing in a special bottle.
Sure.
And next, it is a Tuesday, and we're at this private dinner, and we've been just cranking tequila.
And doing wine lists,
wine lists.
Luckily I have somebody taking the lead on my, as in-house sommelier. But before that, like, I'm doing wine tasting, sometimes 2 or 3 a day.
Right.
You know what I mean? By 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. I have to grab a sandwich because it's like, okay, now I'm getting buzzed. I have to work the rest of the day. But like, it's always something.
Right.
So you really have to take a proactive approach at being healthy, having a balance, taking time to, juice cleanse and be completely dry sober for a couple months at a time, to operate at the highest level. So
Yeah, but it's a part of our industry. It's what we sell. It's one of our biggest products. And so, as a lifer, it can, after a while, you're like, man, I'm gaining a little water weight here.
You have to do it well to be successful. That's what I've come to see. There's a lot of people that don't do it well, and you end up never seeing them again because they can't handle the industry, and they drop out and, hopefully get their shit together, and they realize they got to do something else. But the people who are most successful in this industry are the people that understand what they're doing, and you're not just making that excuse. You're out partying every night and you're like, oh, I'm networking. We all know it's a fine line. There is networking, but it's mixed in with partying, and you got to be able to balance it.
Yeah. I got a little bottle of apple juice behind the bar, so be wary anytime I'm ripping Reposado shots with you.
Yeah. That's definitely the move.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got lucky. Reposado's hot right now. Apple juice is the same color.
Some apple juice, baby. I'm all good.
Hell yeah. So you said you're going to Italy soon, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you're
going next month.
Studying.
A good friend of mine's getting married in Tuscany. We're gonna do a little. We got a yacht for the Croatian yacht week. We're gonna party a little bit. But after his wedding in Tuscany, I'm taking a couple weeks. I'm going down south where my dad's from. We have a little condo on the beach, and really, like, I'm going solo. I'm just trying to wake up early in the mornings and hit the fish markets and the bakery and the mozzarella guy, and see who what they each family harvested in the market, what they got from the mountains that morning or that day, and just dive into cooking and fall back in love with what I'm doing.
You, like, for something like that, are you going in there like, I'm trying to approach it from how I see DJing, right? Because they're both an art. You're both doing something. You have all these ingredients. I have all these songs. Are you just kind of going in there and freestyling it, seeing what you can make, what you can come up with?
Cooking is very sensory. A lot of Italian cooks and chefs, grandmas even, we don't use recipes a lot of the time. I always say, when you're learning something, look at your food, listen to your food, hear the food, and it'll tell you a lot of different things of where it's at, when something's done, what to add to something. So really getting back, and starting on an ingredient level. When you're making a song, when you're producing a song, you start with an inspiration that you might hear randomly on the train, randomly while you're doing something during the day. A different song plays, you get a sample idea. You hear someone say something and it triggers another thought. So it's the same thing with food. Going around and tasting every little bit, and then falling in love with an ingredient and saying, who's the backup band to this ingredient? What's going to be the bass line to this unique sound that I just created? And then it becomes a beautiful song before you know it.
Yeah, I mean, for us, I would say one of the first ingredients we really hung on to when we were building the menu was the Calabrian chili pepper.
Yeah.
It's from where he's from in Calabria, and it's spicy enough that it gives kick, but not too spicy that it's burning your face off. I mean, we use this ingredient in so many dishes now.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I wanted to do was, how do we sneak tequila in an Italian restaurant? And we're thinking spicy marg, and Gino's like, what if we use a Calabrian chili pepper? And now one of our highest selling drinks is the Calabrian, and it's a spicy marg, really, mezcal, reposado, and Calabrian chili pepper, and it is, you know, within the roots of the fabric and DNA of our restaurant. And so, yeah, clinging to Gino's great ideas and trying to build around it is how we generate menus and great tasting dishes.
That's awesome. That's exciting. I definitely want to taste what you got when you come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pause.
Have you ever been to Italy?
What?
Have you ever been to Italy?
I've never been to Italy. I'm not well traveled, bro. You're learning so much about me.
man.
I don't know much about food. I haven't been a lot of places.
Welcome, Strategy, to Gino Marty's podcast. We have several questions for you. Yeah, definitely make some time to go to Italy, man.
I got
you know,
it.
because it's not always about just a recipe. You know, we were talking earlier about the ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're having generations that have been literally talking to these tomato plants. They can tell you how they feel on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
A dish is already starting on a different level. You know, it starts at the farm. You know, a chef is just someone translating the work that everyone else has already have done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's a beautiful thing to be able to be the maestro, you know, of a symphony filled with these beautiful ingredients. And in Italy is the best place to do it.
Yeah, I definitely got to get out there. I think Gianni's out there right now.
Yeah,
right?
he's out
I keep
there
seeing
literally
him posting shirtless
Shout out
pics
Johnny
on
Blue.
boats.
Shout out Gianni Blue. He's been DMing me like all sorts of food, saying trying new recipes for you guys. But yeah, I think it's going to be real interesting when Gino goes to this trip, because this will be the first time Gino's taken a prolonged period of time off from the business, and you know, I was able to have that luxury at the beginning of this year, and Gino's
It'll be
going.
real interesting to see if I return.
Yeah, he's got a one-way ticket, which is crazy. Like
Crazy.
we're talking like a month worth of time,
Yeah.
and it'll be interesting to see us pick up the pieces when he's gone, because you know, he is the heart and soul of the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, but the test of any team, you know, especially in sports, it's not how well the team plays when the captain's there, when the star player's on fire, you know, because there's a lot of the time those people should carry the team. But how well does that team do when that star player's out?
Yeah.
When they're on the bench, that's when championship teams are made of. That's when people really should step up and find their own, and you start to see role players on a different team or a guy off the bench really stepping up and creating a name. You know, that's the equation. So we'll see how that works. At least in theory, it works. We'll see.
Yeah. When Jeremy Allen White gets locked in the walk-in cooler,
Good point.
what happens?
Exactly.
Team steps it up.
Yeah. But yeah, it'll be an interesting time. I'm excited for him to get this time away. I think one thing in restaurants, I actually learned this from Chef Kevin Hickey. You know, Michelin star chef, opened the Duck Inn. Shout out Chef Kevin Hickey. But one thing he let me know was when we were opening the Duck Inn, he was saying to me, you know, oftentimes as restaurant owners and as chefs, we get tunnel vision. You know, like we don't go see if the grass is greener on the other side, because we're tending to our own garden, and it's a all day, everyday thing, and it's very important to, you know, get out there and see what's going on in the world. And I think 2 years in, we need Gino.
When you're in the rat race on a regular basis, you forget the why behind what you're doing. You know, you forget what makes it important. You know, the fact that I'd be cooking even if I didn't make money doing it. That it's important for me or my future family how they eat. It's important for me to tell stories, how my traditions in my family, moments that have happened with certain smells make me think of, you know, family members, you know, so it is part of the story. And, you know, would you be doing what you're doing? You know, I'm pretty sure you'd be playing music if you didn't get paid for it.
Yeah.
You know, that's a beautiful thing. And as humans, we got to get more in touch with that side of our lives.
Yeah.
That's very relatable to, you know, a smell that reminds you of someone and a memory. There's certain songs when I'm DJing, maybe I'm burnt out, maybe it's my 6th set of the week or something, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this. There's certain songs that I know I can put on that get me going, that are tied to a memory with my brother or something, you know, and then it kind of gets my head back in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually, that's really cool to hear. I mean, we have to do the same, because as a lifer, you know, you can burn out real quick in this industry. You're burning the candle at both ends of the stick at any given week, every given day. Like there's something that's going to tire you out, and then you lose that passion, you know, that fire that brought you in. Like, you know, this is what you're good at. You know, this is what you're made to do, but like, do you love it? Right. And I think finding the love is like the hardest part of staying in the game all the time. Right. It's for him in the kitchen, he's got to fall back in love with food. Right. And that's an everyday thing for him. Right. It's like, I mean, when you did a marketing piece the other day and you were talking about, do I cook for myself? No.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, I do not.
I'm going to go home and eat a dry ass sandwich after I just cooked 700 plates.
Yeah. You know,
and
I think people assume like that's what we like to do on our own time. And you're like, no, I like to go eat sushi actually. Yeah. And that gives us that gives you that break that you need to come into the restaurant and be in love with cooking, right? And I think that's something that even myself, like when I do have a day, I'm not like, I'm on the north side in my family neighborhood, hanging out with friends I grew up with, seeing my mom, you know, like I'm playing COD with the boys every Monday night if I can. And that's the stuff that allows me to like decompress. Because then when I do come in, you know, I got to be passionate about it, and I got to, you know, be happy and smile. And
everyone wants to know what I'm eating. Everyone wants to know what I'm cooking, but no one ever asks chef if he's hungry. You know what I mean? It's just it's what we do.
That's a fact. Yeah.
You're from the north side too?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
So all over. I mean, from uptown to about Howard Street.
Okay.
So moving. My mom likes to high rise hop. So we went from, I mean, all the way from Montrose to, you know, I've lived on Jarvis, lived near Moore Street. Most recently when I was in high school was living closer to like Granville and Thorndale on the lakefront. But yeah, I grew up playing ball at Loyola Park, grew up playing ball at Foster Beach. You know, shout out my boys who I grew up playing ball with. You know, it's what, you know, defines me as a city kid. You know, I think that area's got a lot of really cool architecture, like a lot of old theaters, and you know, there's like Aragon ballrooms over there, but people don't realize there's 3 other theaters, all used to be owned by Al Capone, with underground passages, the Green Mill Lounge. Like there's a lot of really cool history over there.
When you can appreciate all the scenery when you're riding the bench during those games too.
Oh, hey, don't get me wrong. Listen, happy I made the team. You know, put on the uniform. But yeah, you know, it defines me. You know, I still get my hair cut on Wilson at Air Force. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. My first gig ever was at Habibi's Hookah Lounge on Devon.
Oh, nice. Stop it.
Yeah, right by the Devon Market there.
I
Devon and Clark.
Yeah, I know exactly where it is.
Sure.
I used to have a place on Devon in Greenview.
Yeah,
down the street.
That's where I lived with my dad. On Greenview, maybe 2-3 blocks north off Devon.
Same. Actually, I had a place there for 3 years.
Damn, that'd be insane if we lived in the same building.
I was about to say, it actually is kind of crazy. After this, I'm gonna look up the address and see. But yeah, I'm a Northside kid, through and through, and it's a super multicultural side of town. You know, I grew up with Africans, I grew up with Indians and Pakistanis and Jewish people, and you know, just got a real appreciation for culture. I would say that drives me today. Like, I'm obsessed with ethnic foods. I love seeing what's happening in other sides of the world. Like, even if I think it's the grossest thing ever, I'll probably try it, because there's history and stories in this dish, and it's like, if we don't appreciate it and push it forward, we'll lose that. You know, Gino and I talk about that a lot. You know, your grandma's not going to be around forever, and if she's from another country and she's got these recipes in her head, you better get in that kitchen and learn how to make it, because with her it goes. And that's true to every culture, you know. Yeah.
As some Northside boys, can we all agree that Superdog is better than Gene and Jude's?
Oh, for sure, dude. I'm a big Superdog guy. I don't think he's gonna say it.
Well, I think he's gonna say it, there's no food questions. It's gonna be black and white for me. You know, like, it's just a reality. You know, Chicago, a Chicago style dog, Superdog all the time. But Gina Jude's has a cult following. Gina Jude's is a unique product.
Okay.
I wouldn't consider it a Chicago style dog. If someone wants to have a Chicago style dog, I wouldn't take him to Gina Jude's. I would take him to Superdog. If someone wants a late night unique Chicago vibe that a lot of people, like something off the beaten path, Gina Jude's all day.
Okay.
But I grew up by both technically, so it all depends on what day you caught me, which one I'm going to. But I'm not going to talk bad about either one.
No, both are Chicago
they're both
staples.
good for sure. But I'm, I'll eat Gina Jude's all day.
For sure,
But I'm a
yeah.
Superdog guy at the end of the day.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
I mean, we're drawing lines in the sand.
I got one more for you, but I'm gonna
Go
pee
for it.
real quick. You guys got to pee at all?
No, I'm
Water,
okay.
drinks,
I'm okay.
anything?
Yeah, no, we're good.
The Party with Strategy podcast has a brand new sponsor. Make sure you guys go check out Rendezvous Limousine Services for any of your travel needs around the Midwest. It's the best you can get, top notch. Let's be honest, everyone's a little sick of buying Ubers, getting charged for Uber X's like they're black cars, and the market's just not what it used to be. You might as well go with your best bet, Rendezvous Limo Service. They got party buses, they got Sprinter vans, they got Escalades, they got Navigators. Only the best of the best. Make sure you check out Rendezvous Limousine. You can find them on Instagram at RNDZ Limo or their website, Rendezvous Limousine. If you're grammatically challenged like myself, Rendezvous is RENDEZVOUS. And we might as well do limousine as well. LIMOUSINE. Rendezvous Limousine. Best you can get anywhere you want to go in the Midwest. Airport pickups, drop-offs, party buses. Just going to see a friend. Do it in style. You know what I'm saying? Let's get back to the episode. Thank you guys for watching. All right, so we're back. Got that out. I don't know. I have to pee every episode. It's tiny bladder, vodka sodas,
You should do
pizza.
find a good sponsor. Like we got that Red Bull.
Dude wipes.
You got that, yeah. Dude
Dude
just went
wipes.
straight
Shout
to
out
Dude
Dude Wipes.
Yeah,
You know
I was
who
going
you are.
Red
You're
Bull
my
with him in
boys.
the back. Do a little pee break.
Yeah.
Drink
Yeah.
a couple Red Bulls. Here we go. Write us a check.
Yeah, I
Like
like
neon
that.
light that's like
I'm gonna reach out to Cam after this.
Yeah. Shout out Cam. I love Cam. He's
Shout
the
out
best.
Cam.
Cammy's
Shout
the
out Red
best.
Bull team.
He's
Vargas,
the
we love
best.
you.
Yeah. All right, so we got your hot dog insight.
Yeah.
Classic. Lumonati's or Giordano's? Or are you
Neither.
throwing a different competitor in?
Neither.
No, I'll go if I'm choosing between the two Lumalnatis. You got to go with the butter crust.
Fucking go,
It's
baby.
just a little bit extra.
The North Side strikes again. You've been to the original one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean the butter crust.
Of course.
It's super unique. I think
Yeah,
that's
I'll do.
what makes
If
that
I'm
place.
going deep dish, I'll do Pequods a lot.
Yeah,
Also,
Pequods
there's a
is-
place on Ashland called the Art of Pizza.
The Art of
Check
Pizza.
that out.
Shout out near Belmont.
I've heard
Love
I've
the
heard
Art
it's
of Pizza.
fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Is
super
that
fire.
deep dish as well?
Yeah, deep dish by the
they
slice.
they all have both
Right,
options.
right.
And they do deep dish by the slice for you too, so you don't have to go
Okay.
get a big pie if
I
you want
like
to just
that.
grab one. Yeah, I actually went to a school over there at one time when I was in like 7th or 8th grade, or no 6th grade, and yeah, like we'd go there. All the parents would take us there after school, and it was like this place is fire. Art of Pizza.
Yeah. Is that your choice? Because you said neither.
No, I was gonna say
Giordano's
neither.
or-
I said neither. I
That's
mean,
just
yeah,
what a
Pequods.
bullshit
You know,
answer.
I'm more.
You could
neither.
you
I
could
was gonna say
you could
Pequods.
shoe in Pequods
Yeah, you
on it
wanna
because
shoe
some
in
people
Pequods?
want to.
Sure.
Pequods
Pequods.
to me. I mean, more
Right.
of the thin crust guy though. Like
Yeah.
I will take a trip to Vito's and Nick's and sit in the bar and grab a pie. I think that's like as classic Chicago bar pie as it gets. I'm a big
Dig it.
Vito's and Nick's guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll even buy the frozen pizzas, which they do sell.
Those are those. I lived in Arizona for a year. I lived in Houston for 3 years, and my family would send me the frozen Lou's because it's
Yeah.
my favorite, and it is good. It's not as good because
No.
you're never gonna beat fresh, but
Right.
it is very good.
Yeah. But if I had to choose, I mean, Giordano's solid, but no, Lou Malnati's butter crust is.
I mean, we
staple.
covered hot dogs. You covered pizza. Now you got to hit a beef.
All right, what do you got?
I mean, I presented the question, so
I mean, I went to Ignatius in high
do we
school.
have multiple choice, or are we just going off whatever we want?
I went to Ignatius in high school, so I got to shout out Al's Beef. I was
Al's
there.
Beef,
I was there so much. I don't know if it's
you got Al's beef on Taylor.
yeah on Taylor.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because they say it's different.
on
It's all
Taylor
a little
it is.
different.
Yeah, I mean, but I went to Ignatius, so it was right behind our school. We would hop the fence during free periods, go to Al's, and then hop back into school. Yeah, because we didn't have off-campus free periods.
That's tight. When we snuck away from school, we just had to go to the mobile and get like Pringles.
Yeah, we were hopping, getting Al's, getting Busy Burger, coming back. Yeah,
Yeah, hell yeah. What's your beef?
I was Portillo's forever, but now that they're big
Yeah,
and corporate and changed, it's not as good. So I'll give it to Al's. I'll switch it to
Yeah,
Al's.
see, I'm a Harlem boy, so Johnny's
you're
beef,
Johnny's
North
all day.
Avenue,
Yeah.
all day.
Johnny's beef.
All day.
Yeah, I didn't think
Two
about
plain
Johnny's.
juicies.
2 plain juices. I didn't think about Johnny's. Johnny's is fire.
Johnny's is good.
Real
Two
good.
plain juicies, Italian ice, and a fry, baby. Hit
Oh,
me.
it hit me. Double down.
Yeah, that spot is definitely fire. It's a little off the beaten path, but if you want good shit, sometimes that's how you
And
gotta
you got to
go.
have a half hour to wait in line for sure, at least.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Little known fact about Gino, he's always going to get 2 sandwiches. He can't get one. It doesn't matter what type of sandwich. You heard him say
actually
2 juicies. We're
Not
going
messing
to Graziano's. We're going anywhere. He gets 2. He always
Yeah,
gets 2.
usually in restaurants too, I'm going to get 2 on. Like, I do get 2 of everything. Huh?
You get 2 everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's your
it's
thing.
a fun fact.
2 times. I like
Well,
that.
hungry, yeah.
Gino 2 times.
Yeah.
Gino 2 times. 2 times.
Gino 2 times.
What are we ordering? What are we ordering? Get the papers. Get the papers.
Get the
Yeah.
papers.
It's like, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What are you dancing to these days? You say you
Oh,
dance
man,
while you're
dude,
cooking a lot.
yeah.
You like to dance. What are you feeling? What's
You know,
hot right now?
Man, I love old jams. Like, you know, like 80s love music is like the like 80s love ballads. Like nobody sung from the top of their lungs and talked about loving a woman like they did in the 80s. You know,
Okay.
like, yeah, there's some good 70s stuff. But then like early 90s dance and like freestyle and getting back to like, you know, I was just listening to Percolator before we came here. You know, little Percolator, little hey, hey.
Hey, yeah, that's a
Yeah,
banger.
some Stevie B, dude. Awesome. But yeah, I mean anything with vocals that has a vibe, some live instruments, you know, current DJs, you know, like Duke Dumont is one of my favorites. You know, I like Disclosure, Duke Dumont, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But something with like a vibe, some feeling. Yeah, I'll be moving.
I didn't think you were gonna say power ballads. That's fire.
Yeah, most people don't.
That's fire.
Yeah.
No, Gino gets frustrated some nights because we're not playing enough 80s ballads. It's a fact.
I'm gonna get my crates up next time I play over there.
I mean, just
I got you.
be ready for it. You know, I love all music. You know, I have a huge variety of music. You know, and especially like in the kitchens. You know, when I wake up in the morning, if I'm working out, I'll go straight heavy metal. Then after the workout, you know, I'm getting ready. It'll be Wu-Tang Clan. I start in the kitchen to some Bill Withers. You know, and then you know, try to be calm to some John Coltrane later. You know, literally go from heavy metal to jazz in a couple hour period of time, and then like once dinner service is rocking, it's Motown oldies and deep cuts, and you know, like every day I post like a little video of me like
Food jams.
I consider food porn, like the fork slowly going into the pasta and twirling it, you know, and bringing it up, and that is always almost with an 80s love ballad.
I tried to do this the other day on Instagram, and afterwards Tina goes, 12 game week, son. The 12 game is
Gotta
weak,
work on
son.
the flick of that wrist.
That's hilarious.
So funny.
Twirl game is lacking.
Yeah, 12 game lacking, dude.
Hell yeah. So you guys got plans for anything else in the works? Something
We're going to be grand opening the second portion of our venue. We're doubling the venue in size. Hopefully around Labor Day.
it's coming up.
Labor
the
Day,
goal.
give or take. You know how those things work. That'll be the 2-year anniversary of our first kind of Labor Day parties that we were doing 2 years ago, and you know, kind of nostalgic for us.
Yeah.
So hopefully the venue will be done in time.
Extending the dining room, adding a second lounge that'll be more exclusive than I think any offering in the West Loop. That's kind of our goal. You know, like legit guest lists only, and having a standing guest list attached to it. And you know, I think when people don't realize that Gino and Marty's is a story that Gino and I try to tell, going through the dining room and it being like an elevated dining room you'd see in the Prohibition era in a hotel, and then going up to like the Speakeasy Lounge. We used to call that like the coach house because we felt like that's where the guys would be in a coach house. And the second lounge that we're adding is called the Bathhouse, and it's based on this idea that Italians used to love to have all their meetings in like steam rooms and bathhouses and saunas. And
Yeah,
so
well, I mean, it was one of those things, especially for like, like the old outfit guys. Like that's when you could see the truth in a person.
Yeah.
When two men were completely naked and you didn't have a knife on you, you didn't have a wire on you, and you know where someone stood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And nothing is more important than word at that point.
Yeah, so we've been designing this place to feel like an actual sauna. It's obviously going to be driven by high energy, bottle service, but
We call it clean fun for dirty people.
yeah, clean, fun, dirty people.
Is a current
Like there's going to be bathtub booths.
Yeah.
There's a pool ladder that leads up to the bar. It's the
No cell phones allowed though. Most importantly,
we were
Really?
checking cell phones
leave
at
the
the
cell
door.
phones.
Yeah,
That's an amazing concept. I
No one
love.
needs to wake up to finding out, you did something or you had fun or you were blown up in any way. And people got to get back to a human interaction.
Yeah.
And that's really important. And it's really about the culture that we try to keep.
Yeah, enjoying the moment, enjoying the memories, not letting your hair down without worrying about, the repercussions of social media. I mean, there's plenty of celebrities that we host that they get real nervous going out, they get real paranoid, and you can see it all over them. And if you can create an experience for someone where they're just feeling comfortable and loose and they're having fun, I mean, it's gonna go a long way.
Yeah.
I think that is such a huge piece of the puzzle for getting the right clientele in the door, because anyone who's gonna give up their cell phone to go enjoy themselves, and it's not about their Instagram story and like that, like those are the people you want to hang out with and have a good time with,
for sure.
and who can provide the most fun that you're going to be able to have.
Right.
And that's huge. Are you guys doing yonder bags? You know what that is, where they lock up your phone?
Yeah, the case that we have a case, like a custom case that's going to be being built that charges your phone, and that case has the same technical effect as one of those bags.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So we don't need anyone showing up because they looked at your location.
Yeah, which is, it's crazy, man. We used to say like being in the scene, and now in the social media era, it is a scene because everyone is more interested in, oh, I got all these bottles, oh, I got all these girls at my table, oh, I'm standing next to this celebrity, and that takes away from an actual fun night. Like if you want to have a fun night out, chances are I lost my phone. Chances are I have no idea what I did with my phone. It died hours ago. We're on the buddy system at this point. Like,
Yeah, but you have people coming in to celebrate a birthday or, like on date night or whatever, coming into the restaurant. One of the first questions they ask is what our Wi-Fi password is. It's like what? To communicate on your phone? Communicate to the person right next to you. Like fuck your phone. Put it away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that with establishments like this happening, where they do take your phone and you can realize how much better it is without it, because like there's no doubt about it, we're all tied to our phones, like unconsciously. I'll reach into my pocket and grab my phone if I don't even want to. It's just like it's part of me now. So for someone to step in and take it away from you and show you how much more fun you can have without it, I think is going to start the revolution of getting away from it a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the last Dave Chappelle show I went to, we had to lock up our phones in a yonder bag. And I thought it was much better of an experience for not only the artist, the venue, but for the guest, right? Like you are there to enjoy a good show, not to show that you were at Dave Chappelle. Right. And I think that's where we get away from.
Yeah. Life is made of a series of moments, and we need to take some time to enjoy those little moments, whether good or bad. All are part of our story and make us who we are. And, we have to get back to that as humans. And that's hopefully something we push forward with our restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm real excited for that. That makes me very happy.
Yeah.
I hope that it's a revolution. I hope that people start to realize, because I think they're scared to take people's phones. Like, oh, if we take people's phones, they're not going to want to come here. But it's the complete opposite. And I think you have to show them that.
Yeah. And I mean, we're going to do it right. Like, we're going to have a check, almost like a code check system, right? Where you get a number and you can get your phone anytime. You can go outside, have a cigarette, use your phone, check it back in. But it's going to force you to, like, if the party's popping and you're more interested in checking your phone, unless it's like someone trying to meet up with you or some emergency, like why would you do that? Like why would you walk away from a great experience to go check a stupid text message, when in reality, like, yo, it's going upstairs, you got 2 hours to enjoy it, and then get back to people 2 hours later. It's something to me that's so mind-blowing about where we are as people. We're more interested in having access to everyone. Like back in the day when we were kids, if you called my mom's landline at the wrong time of night, she'd be like, stop playing on my phone and hang up. She might not even answer, right? Like you'd go out in the day with no phone.
Yeah.
And
disappear for 8 hours.
8 hours.
Come back when it's dark.
Come back when it's dark. You know, now it's like people assume because they have your number or because they have access to you through this phone that you got to respond like instantaneously. You got to get back to them right away. They're not thinking about if you're slammed, you're busy, you're doing stuff as a human being. Like you're actually doing manual labor maybe. Maybe you're sweating balls in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And people are like mad that you didn't respond. And it's like, yo, in reality, like back in the day, you would leave a voicemail and I'd get back to you at my earliest convenience. And here we are today where it's like, if you didn't put it on Instagram, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, which is crazy.
How about how much more of a man it made you to have to call some girl's house and potentially talk to her dad?
Talk to her
Yeah,
pops.
for sure.
Bro,
Talk to her dad.
I might have hung up if he answered.
I still remember, like, you know, like girls I liked in the 6th grade. Like, I remember their phone numbers. You'd have to talk to the dad, you know, ask if that person's home, you know, maybe put a little B96 in the background, light a candle by yourself. You know, but lighting a candle by yourself, you know, you got to set the tone because you're about to be on the phone for like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, nestle in. You know what I mean? Maybe be making a mixtape for that girl. Then you got to go to her house and deliver that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How you doing, Mr. So-and-so? I'm Gino here. Can you give her this little...
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're the one that takes up all the phone time.
Now jump
know?
on my pegs. Let's go to McDonald's. Baby.
Jump on my pegs.
Yo, I've definitely pegged a girl to the pool for like a date before.
No, yeah, my first date was that. Yeah.
You know,
It's insane.
It's insane.
Yeah.
To think about like what times used to be.
Yeah, pegged a girl to the McDonald's, you know, before the sock hop, you know, about to hit the floor, show her some new moves.
Oh, stop it.
You know what I mean? No big deal. I still do it.
That's incredible, bro. That's
But
amazing.
different times, man. And now it's like
Maybe you guys should have a house phone. That'd be sick.
We have talked about this.
Yes, this is
so many times.
I've said this like before we open.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I want a rotary wired phone that someone has to bring out on a platter. You know, that like they used to do with the old mobsters at like Nick's Fish Market. You know, back in the day.
Yes,
where like
dude.
you knew if that plate was coming up to you that it was someone super important. Like who's that?
Yeah.
You know, I was in London at a high tea, and it was like a really expensive high tea, really nice place. And I had a friend. I was like, okay, listen, you know, we're going in like half hour, call the house phone. Say you have important business for Mr. Bertucci. And I had nothing to talk to him about. So I pick up the phone and I'm like, oh, yes, fantastic. Sell. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like pretending I'm doing something. And the whole room is looking at me like, who the fuck is that guy? Mm-hmm. And it felt so cool. Where I'm like, yo, we have to have the house phone experience.
Yes.
Yeah. And we've talked about it. We have to work on a proper way to execute it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, space is tough. But yeah. Like,
because we did open Gino and Marty's with a butler. Remember, we had a guy that every hour. Remember, we went to your dad's gift shop and we got that crystal bell.
Yeah.
And he he was just standing there in a full tux near the kitchen.
Full tux.
Just every hour he'd ring the bell and he would take out little nippers, what we call them, like a little champagne to each table. And it just didn't execute right because we were
there's
just
so much
busy
going on. We're
and
so busy. It's so hard. Sometimes you try to do too much.
Yeah.
And you forget to sometimes do less and do it better.
Yeah. But that was a part of that idea, was like he was in charge of nipper time and the house phone.
Nipper time.
But it didn't execute correctly.
Yeah.
And I thought it was the funniest little touch. He had we had the white gloves.
No, but for the bathhouse, I think the house phone is necessary.
Yeah.
Yes, dude.
You know, Martin and I are later this week. We're redoing our voicemail in the restaurant. So when you call in, you know, if somebody doesn't answer for whatever reason, you know, the voicemail is just like, "Hey, it's Gino
and Marty."
You know what I mean? Two stupid
Yeah.
roommates. But you have to have fun with stuff like that, you know, and then that creates a lasting effect and puts a smile on someone's face when they're starting their experience. Their first touch point is calling the restaurant.
Yeah.
So it's little things that we can do like that.
That's amazing, dude. Like if you had a table with the knowing that if you got a table, you get access to the house phone, right?
phone.
And you don't have your phone, but if you need to, someone's coming to join your table, tell them to call the number, ask for you.
It's
They'll be able to
old
talk to
school
you.
flex.
That's
It's,
amazing.
little
flex.
white glove platter comes out to you.
We've thought about this for years now.
That's
strategy.
incredible.
You have a call for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, do you imagine, man? Like, you're balling out, and then this like dude comes out with white gloves on. And he's like, "We have a call for you, sir." And you're like, "Oh, guys, give me a sec." It's like could be nothing, and everyone around is like, "Yo, he's so important."
In fact, it probably is nothing.
Yeah, it's probably like,
Take a-
"Yo, I
take
can't
a
give you the
page out of
club."
my book.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
So
I
funny.
love that. I'm excited now.
Yeah.
I want to. I'm hitting the bathhouse.
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
it's been a long time coming. When we first opened, it was a stressful thought opening another spot while Gino and Marty are so busy. But we're going in the second year. I think things are getting more automated.
we're hitting
and
our
streamlined.
stride, and it's
hitting our
starting
stride.
to do
It's time. It's time. So, yeah, come Labor Day. Hopefully, we don't shoot ourselves in the foot saying that out loud, but
Labor Day-ish.
ish.
We're going to open Labor Day. If you're not there, you didn't get invited. But
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I don't want to take up too much more of your guys' time on your
appreciate
day
you.
off. Thank you very much for coming here and
Appreciate it,
kicking it. It was amazing. I hope that anyone watching is going to gain, knowledge. You guys are obviously knowledgeable, successful Chicago businessmen, entrepreneurs, chef. I mean, what's a better credit than being a top chef in the city of Chicago?
yeah, it's been pretty surreal, man. But appreciate you now being part of the journey that we're on. So
Yeah.
thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
I mean, it's a village, man. Shout out to
Absolutely.
partners, that aren't here, that should be here, right? The Davids, the Tylers, the Daniels of the world.
I was talking to David. I'm definitely going to get him on the pod.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Because David's got,
You won't get any questions in.
yeah, David's got stories for days.
That's my kind of pod.
he's
I'm
the
going to book
glue.
it for a day that I'm tired or something, and I'll be like, just
Yeah,
fucking
David will
hit
take it.
me.
But he's the glue. He's
Yeah.
the guy behind the scenes that you don't see. And without him, I don't know where we'd be.
Come into the restaurant soon, man.
Yeah, I'll
Happy
be there,
to take care of
definitely.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, got
Thank
pasta.
you. We'll see you guys next time. If you're
All right.
watching, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, drop a little comment on the video, like the video, algorithm activating activity. That's what we like to see here. And we'll see you next time.
Well, alright. Battle raps cause I've shaken grown men to the point that they can't even face their own friends. That's why they rhyme about jewels, not life, cause the ice on which they skating is so thin. That's what I love about the human soul. It'll usually show when the truth ain't told. Use a lie.